It just won't start. It was fine yesterday. I drove it around, and today it won't start. I turned the key over, and it won't make no noise at all, but all the lights will come on, and the dinging for the door and everything.
So it doesn't even click when you try to start it?
Nope, no noise. Silence.
Have you checked the fuses?
I have not checked the fuses.
Is there any anti-theft or security light on or flashing on the dash or anything like that?
There is lights on.
How about the security light?
Hold on, I'm 20 feet from the truck. I'll just turn on. I can tell you exactly. I just had a hose replaced in it like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and it was down. The shop took like 2 weeks to do it. There's a little engine and an ABS. That's all I have.
Okay.
Has lights on the dash.
It doesn't sound like the security system is the issue. I would recommend to check the starter relay to see if it clicks. This is in the power distribution center under the hood. And then if it does, I would recommend to go down to the starter and check for battery voltage down at the starter, because it sounds like the starter has just simply gone bad, causing this no crank condition. And yeah, it can do this out of the blue without warning.
All right. Well, I got a question. I was told by somebody that because it cranks when I go to crank it, it's no noise, that it was the alternator and not the starter.
Well, if the alternator stopped charging the battery, then the battery would be low on a charge, and then it usually would click when you try to start it multiple times, or no lights would come on the dash. The only other way the alternator would stop the engine from cranking is if the alternator itself is locked up.
Yeah, they was trying to tell me that it was the alternator was bad. I need to replace the alternator.
At this point, I would not recommend replacing the alternator.
No, it's more likely the starter. Because it's not clicking, it would be a starter issue.
Well, it's something else. It's more likely a starter than it is the alternator, but this could be a bad ignition switch. This could be a blown fuse. This could be a wiring issue, a bad fuse box. The powertrain control module also activates or controls that starter relay. So if the PCM isn't powered up for any reason, and if it doesn't see the transmission in park or neutral, it's not going to activate that starter relay. So there's a lot of possibilities, but the most likely one is that we just have a bad starter. That's why I recommended that we check the starter relay to see if it clicks, and then we go down to the starter and check for power. Then we know we're on the right track.
I'm not real familiar with all that, to be honest with you.
I hear you, but I'm just answering your question.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, I get you. But it sounds like it's not something that I can verify myself.
Well, here's the thing. So a lot of people, they're scared to pick up a voltmeter because they don't know how to use it. It's honestly it's the simplest thing you could possibly do. You're not going to get electrocuted. You turn the voltmeter on, you turn it on the 20 volt DC scale, and you just start by measuring the battery voltage, right? 12.6 is a fully charged battery, and then we go down to the starter. We make sure that there's 12 volts down. It's really, really not hard. Now, you don't have to be a mechanic to do this. And if you don't want to do this, the only other thing you can do is, and again, this isn't hard either, just go to the starter relay, which is in the power distribution center, and see if that relay clicks. Are you capable of doing that?
Yeah, could you walk me through it?
Yeah, well, yeah, all you got to do is just pop the cover off that power distribution center. What you're going to do is and by the way, hang on. Before you do that, I want you to listen to me. You need an assistant to turn the key while you check to see if this relay clicks. So we're not going to be able to do it on the phone. So once we're off the phone, what you're going to need to do is get an assistant, have them sit in the driver's seat, turn the key to the starter, to the crank position, and then that starter relay should click one time when the key is in the start position. And when they release the key, it'll click again to deactivate. And if that happens, then I suspect the inputs to the relay are good, and I suspect we probably have a bad starter.
So when I do that, and if I hear that clicking when they turn it over underneath the distribution relay spot, it's the starter. Okay. You
got it. Yep.
I think I understand it.
Okay.
For the main, the core of it.
Right.
All right. That simplified it for me pretty good.
Well, good luck, and let me know if anything comes up, okay?
All right, I got you. Appreciate it, man.
All right, you bet. You're welcome.